All right, this is the second gateway test. It's called solving trig equations. Now notice, first it's got a list of 24 different trig equations here to solve. On the top it says find two values of theta. Most of these have two answers. Some of them don't. Some of the quadrantals only have one answer. Anything else has two answers. Notice all of our answers are between 0 and 2 pi, so we're in radians. And we're going to leave our answers. You're going to do this without a calculator, so you leave in terms of pi. So again, you'll be given a number. It's like here, for example, if we had, let's say we had 22. Say our number given was 22. So we look at the sheet. 22 is the cosine of theta is negative radical 2 over 2. You can see on the cosine of theta, and I wrote on here, I simplified it to negative 1 over radical 2 because that's probably what we're most comfortable with. So cosine of theta equals negative radical 2 over 2, which is the same as negative 1 over radical 2. All right, on these, we're going to follow these steps. You're going to draw a triangle and fill in the sides. Then you're going to find the reference angle. Then you're going to put that reference angle in the correct quadrants. There's usually two quadrants. And then find the whole positive angle in radians. So on this one, negative 1 over radical 2. So we don't worry about the negative just yet. We're going to draw a triangle and fill in the sides. Well, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So the adjacent side is 1. The hypotenuse is radical 2. Now we need to recognize that's one of our special right triangles. Well, that's a 45, 45, 90 triangle. That's the only one that has a hypotenuse of radical 2 and a leg of 1. So this is 45. We want radians. So our reference angle is pi over 4 because that's 45 degrees in radians. So that's that part. So that was the first step. Find the reference angle. Second step, put it in the correct quadrants. We get that from the negative sign. Cosine is negative in quadrants 2 and 3. You can do that by reasoning it out, or you can remember all-star trig class. But cosine is negative in those two quadrants. So let's put it in quadrant 2. So we start from the x-axis. We're going to go up in quadrant 2, pi over 4. We want to know hold positive angle in standard position. Well, all the way around is 1 pi. That's 4/4. We're back a fourth, so that's 3/4. That's one of our answers. Then put it in the third quadrant. So in the third quadrant would be down here. Again, our reference angle is pi over 4. All the way to here is 4/4 because that's 1 pi. We're another fourth, so it's 5 pi over 4. That's our two answers. 3 pi over 4 and 5 pi over 4. That's our two answers. Let's do a second one. What if they gave you, let's say they gave us 23. 23 says the sine of theta equals negative 1. So sine of theta equals negative 1. So again, the first step says draw a triangle, fill in the sides. So we draw a triangle. Let's see if we think of that as over 1. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So that means the opposite is 1 and the hypotenuse is 1. Well, that's impossible. The hypotenuse and the leg can't be the same. Well, down at the bottom here, so that means that's not a triangle. If you get that happens, it's not a triangle. You need to find x, y, and r. So here, opposite over hypotenuse, that opposite is always y, hypotenuse is always r. Remember, r is always positive, so here y has to be negative 1, r has to be 1. Well, let's think of our quadrantal angles. If this happens, if it's not a triangle, it has to be quadrantal. Well, where does y equal negative 1? Well, y equals negative 1 only right here, because that's the point 0, negative 1. So what's that angle? Well, if we go all the way around positive, which our answer has to be between 0 and 2 pi, that's 1/2, 2/2, that's 3/2 pi. So that's our answer, 3/2 pi. Again, some of the quadrantals only have one answer, some of them have two. So if it happens like that, You find x, y, and r, which we did. You use that to find the point, which we did 0, -1, and use the point to find the angle. That's 3 pi over 2. And that's how you do the second gateway solving trig equations.